So Tom, in one of your recent e-news emails, the one titled "A Gift in Your Will, Too Much to Ask," you write about Joy. And she was someone who attended your bequest webinar, where you suggested that nonprofits consider writing a letter to donors, specifically asking them to consider making a gift in their will to the charity. And Joy loved this idea and she took it to her board, who unequivocally said no, because they felt that it seemed too inappropriate. And she emailed you asking you for your advice. So here's my question to you. So some board members seem to think that, like Joy's board, that asking for a gift in their will is in poor taste, because they think it has to do with death. Why is this thinking wrong?
Well, it's not, it is wrong technically, from what we know about bequest marketing, which can succeed wildly. But it is very much a mirror of the way we treat death in a Western culture. We avoid discussion of it. It's an unfortunate event. We're all sad and grieving, and death is not seen as part of life, which of course is delusional. But the real point, and the letter that I was recommending that Joy was talking to her board about, was an annual letter to a certain subset of your donors, the ones who are your most, your truest of true believers, the ones who have given to you most often, the ones who maybe have the higher lifetime value. And these are the people who like what you're doing, like the mission, like the vision and the vision. So what you're talking to them about is not their death. What you're talking to them about is their life and their values and their interests, and the fact that they got past, the great barrier, which is human inertia, and contributed to some cause and tried to help somebody else. And you're saying basically to them, you're not talking about death. And we had Russell James on one of our webinars as the guest expert, and he had done a very interesting test where he tried two versions of the same language, or the same offer, using two different approaches. And whenever you brought up death, people just shut down. They absolutely wouldn't do anything about it. When you talked about life, then they were interested. So part of the problem with this board is they're reacting. They don't really have the bigger picture, the fact that you can make a ton of money with charitable bequests. They're just thinking, I don't know how to say this. And that's because you're thinking of them as dead people. Stop thinking of them as dead people.
I love that. Thank you, Tom. Yeah, when I think about, and the older I get, the more I'm thinking about, charities and putting them in my will. And I think about what are my values and what is like the purpose of my life, and what values that I have will like live on. And really, that's really an empowering feeling. And so, yeah, just like what you were saying, it's really what charities should talk about. And I think people would welcome that conversation.
They do. And I can tell you, because I'm in a different age group than you are, Julie. You and Brett are getting into your prime giving years as you age into your 50s, right? Because finally the kids are out of the house and we have some surplus income. Praise the Lord. And but it gets, when you get, particularly after, let's say you retire, if retirement age stays around 65, your sense of purpose was fulfilled daily by your job and so forth, and the world that you were operating in, and your friends and your family, etc. When you leave that world, you need a new sense of purpose. And I think in some ways, one of the big missed opportunities for charities is that they don't realize they can bring a sense of purpose to people in that 65 and above age group. And that feels good to those people. And I'm one of those people. So I can tell you for a fact, it feels good that our entire estate goes to charity. Now, we didn't have children, so we don't have heirs in a normal, conventional way. But when I think about it, I think, wow, that's so wonderful.
Thank you. That is really insightful. Appreciate it.